Hey all, welcome to ShareTreck. This is Raj here. Friends, this is my plan for tomorrow and update on what I did today, which is almost next to nothing because I just sat watching the market. I didn't want to sell off the FNGU. So that's what I'm going to do. It'll be, I think, around 7 or 8 minutes long, and we're going to touch through the heat map. We're going to touch through the economic calendar, and we're also going to have a look at the TradingView platform and go through all the genomic stocks and also the indices, etc. And we are also going to have a quick look at the fear and greed index and see where we are. With that said, let's get started. Welcome back, friends. First, let us have a look at the fear and greed index and see how greedy the market is, and then we'll proceed to the next one. As you can see here in the CNN Money Fear and Greed Index, we are back to greed. We dialed back from extreme greed where we were on Tuesday. We came back to greed today, which is a slight reprieve. And if we were to go and have a look at the S&P 500 heat map, you will see that the entire S&P 500 heat map is red, except for a few oases of green, and the most prominent among them is Google. Google did extremely well today, but everyone else fell, and along with that, FNGU also fell big time, and it's in a bit of a red in my chart, but I'm not going to sell it yet, and I'll explain why when I go to the QQQ and the FNGU charts. Now, if you were to look at the whole world, for example, the whole world, across the board, everything has been red. And if you were to look at the exchange traded funds, now you will see here that most of the money has been going into the fixed income area, because when the interest rates are high, the risk reward is skewed in towards the fixed income because the capital is guaranteed and the high return is guaranteed, whereas in the equity there is no guarantee for the capital, and the rate of return may not be as high as what the fixed income can give. And that's why I am very keen to see that, every day we are looking at yields falling, and that makes me feel better. And now I think I would like to take you to the economic calendar and tell you what's happening out here. On the economic calendar, we can say that the durable goods order dropped, and it seems to indicate weakness in the economy and adds to the Fed's dovishness. Right now in the market, the bad situation is good, or rather bad is good, because that will make the Fed dovish, and that's good for the market because the yields will go down, assuming that the Fed is going to cut interest rates and it's not going to raise the interest rates, and interest rate cutting is going to come closer rather than go further. So that's how I would read it. But on the other hand, we had the consumer confidence, which came in strong. So that counterbalances that. Treasury yields continue to fall, and that is good for the retail sentiment in the stock market. And so overall, I think that the Fed is going to continue to remain dovish in the background. And with that, I think it's time for us to go and have a look at our TradingView platform and look at Nasdaq futures. Nasdaq future is up 0.26. That's a very good positive. And we have this line of support here at 16,765, which came in and absolutely helped us. And if we were to go into indicators and look at QQQ, we can see that we have fallen below the line of support. And friends, if you recollect, when I spoke about my game plan for this week on Friday, I had mentioned that ideally I want to go up, come down, test this, and then go up. And that's when I would buy FNGU. But I jumped the gun on Tuesday, and I bought it on Tuesday for around 37.5. And this morning it was looking good, but then it dropped, and I think we'll see a bounce back on the QQQ. I think this has been a profit booking session, and people have taken profits. And why do I say that? It's because post-market we see green, and also in futures we are seeing green. So right now it seems to me like it's been a profit taking because of the parabolic rise, and people were getting a bit impatient to grab the profits. So if the nervousness does not persist, we can bounce back because we get a strong support from the 9-day exponential moving average, and we have this huge area out here of resistance which we cross, which has now become an area of support. So let me mark this as area of support. So there is a whole lot of support out here. All the exponential averages are supporting us. MACD is still bullish. Momentum, which was overbought, came down. This is also another reason why we saw a drop today. But many times when we are parabolic, it can keep going up and stay up for a longer time. But this is a very welcome development because now we have room to move up again tomorrow. So I'm very hopeful that tomorrow or day after we're going to see a bounce back. And VIX also jumped up significantly. It jumped up 9.11%. That's a huge jump for VIX. And S&P 500 did not fare well either, neither did Dow Jones. And US dollar index has been consolidating. It has been forming a pennant on a bearish side. So it's a bearish pennant, which indicates that it could come down further. The fortunes of US dollar index is linked to the interest rate in US. If the markets feel that the interest rate is going to go down, the US dollar will weaken against other currencies. And that could import a bit of inflation from other places, but at the same time it's very good for exports. And Russel index has had a break and it came down below what we thought was going to be a support, but it just stopped out there just below it. We have the support from the 9-day exponential moving average, and we also have a support at 191.38. Of course, we don't want it to go down there, but a little bit of profit taking here cues us up with more energy to move upwards. And US oil has dropped a little, and I think that if we look at the oil status out here, there was a consensus estimate that API crude oil stock will go down by 2.33 million, whereas it had gone up by 0.939 million. So that's another thing that could have made oil go a bit soft at this point of time. But we'll see what happens tomorrow because there is more gasoline and crude oil stock information coming up in the economic calendar. That said, I think going back into our TradingView platform, put call ratio right now is at 0.92, which is slightly bullish but almost neutral. And if you look at the S&P 500 stocks that are above 20-day average, there has seen a steep drop in the number of companies. And also the 50-day also has seen a drop in the number of companies. Now I'd like to go to the Magnificent Seven, and we are looking at Google, which did spectacularly well. It opened very high and then it started coming down. That's why you have a red candle, but it gained 1.33%. Next gainer was CVS, and FNGU did very brutally at 228.20. So I think in my portfolio I'm still profitable with the FNGU because I bought it at 270. 273 or 275 or something like that, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm still marginally profitable, maybe $50 or something. I bought only 50 shares. And then Amazon was down 1.03. But before we proceed further, I want to talk about why I bought FNGU. We have a beautiful cup and handle pattern here, and I have projected that there will be a target price of 284.54 for FNGU because the cup has formed here, and I'm going with this. Hopefully my interpretation of the cup and handle is right. I might be wrong sometimes because technical patterns don't always work out, but what I'm seeing here which encourages me is that the MACD is still bullish and we have fallen below the 70% on the RSI, so there is a lot of juice tomorrow morning for things to move. And then if you look at Amazon, Amazon also has cooled off on the RSI. Google has plenty of room to run in the RSI. And if you look at Meta, Meta has lost 0.31%, but MACD is bullish and there is room for it to go up on the RSI. If you look at Netflix, Netflix also is got a bullish MACD and there is now room created for RSI to move up. And if you look at Microsoft, there is plenty of room for Microsoft. In fact, Microsoft is still above average momentum. It needs to pick up momentum. Its MACD is bearish. So Microsoft seems a bit dicey, but It looks strong to me because it has got all the exponential averages, at least 3 of them supporting it. And I think this is a bullish pennant and it has to move upward. So that's my opinion out there. And when it comes to Apple, Apple has got a bearish MACD and momentum is still above average. So Apple can turn around anytime. And I think while we are talking about FNGU, we have to look at 2 constituents of FNGU. One of them is NVIDIA. NVIDIA is down minus 3.01%, but its MACD is still bullish and momentum is still above average. And if you look at AMD, AMD, the RSI has cooled down a bit so that it can move up again, and MACD is still bullish. So these are the constituents of FNGU, and I'm very optimistic that it's going to turn around again. Let's go to Genomics. Invitae was down minus 3.71%. Bionano was flat. PSEV was down minus 3.94%. Verve was down minus 5.03%. DNA was down 5.03%, giving up half of the gains from yesterday. No bad news out there. We have a news that Ginkgo partnered with French startup on agricultural research. I don't think it's a biggie. It cannot move the needle that much. There is also another news that Ginkgo to partner with 11 Biosciences. So it is saying to partner with, but I'll have to read that article. Probably they will find positive momentum tomorrow for all these news because they just happened. One of them happened just 4 hours ago. The other was already in play during the market sessions. But because the overall sentiment was profit taking today, I think tomorrow we should see a little bit of this 9 cents loss being recovered. And if we go to Illumina, Illumina has dropped around 1.88%. And ARCG is down 4.89%, of course, because all genomic companies have dropped. So ARCG dropped. Beam has dropped 6.37%, and Prime is down 6.94%. Caribou down 5.92%. Intelia down 7.50%. Editas down 7.27%. CRISPR down a whooping 9.01%. on a price base of around $60. That's a whole lot. And I think that the big drop of 9% is cancelling Tuesday's gains. I had mentioned yesterday about drop due to potential drop in share price due to chief medical officer's departure. I think that was already bearish for CRISPR. And on top of that, if you stack the bearishness of the whole market, where there's a profit-taking sentiment, I guess that you would end up finding around 9% drop. But I still expect this to bounce back tomorrow. And we'll see how it goes. And IMTX is down 5.85, Allogen is down 7.02. And friends, as I mentioned before, the IPO, not the IPO, IPO is the initial public offering. The equity dilution that was done by Bluebird to the tune of around $150 million, that has shown the impact. It has come down to 1.32 at close. So it has to start recovering from there, especially if they get the PRV, priority review voucher, approved by FDA. They have made an appeal. Let us see what happens. If the priority review voucher comes in, there will be a big jump. If it doesn't come in, then we'll have to wait for the Q1 to see what kind of sales statistics they have and what the margins look like. Because remember, we don't know how much it costs to manufacture Zynteglos, Skysona, or Lovocell. So we don't know what's the profit margin. And again, they have this performance-based pricing, which means they'll have to give refunds to patients for whom it doesn't work. So it's a lot of moving parts out there. I'm not personally a fan of Bluebird right now. We'll have to wait and see what happens. So friends, that's what I have got with regard to the stocks in our watch list. And my plan for tomorrow is just to watch the market and see what happens. And have I told you about another YouTuber's theory of Grinch? So the Grinch theory states that if the markets fall 3 days before Christmas and 3 days after Christmas, then the following year is really good. However, if the market was up for the 3 days before Christmas and up for the 3 days after Christmas, the following year doesn't do very well. So we have to see how the Grinch factor turns out. We are already in the Grinch zone, and today is the 20th when I'm recording it, which is a Wednesday. So we have 1, 2, 3, that is until 22nd for trading 3 days before Grinch. So we have started the Grinch days. The first day was red. The second and third, if it becomes red, and then 26, 27, and 28 are red, then we can be assured that 2024 is going to be fabulous. That's what the Grinch theory says. We'll see if that comes true. I don't have the data to back it up, and I don't want to plagiarize somebody else's data. So I'm still searching for information, but when I saw in his video, it looked very convincing. So I thought I'll just put it out here, somebody else's ideas. And yeah, so that's all I got, and I'm already in the Christmas mood. I'm going to start enjoying, and probably I will put a behind the scenes video to give you an idea of my personal life, who I am, what I do, my 2 dogs, and the jigsaw puzzle that I'm working on, a few other things, nice to know kind of a things as a holiday icebreaker. And I would like to know you guys also better, and probably that video will also be a Christmas and New Year greeting for you guys. So watch out for that. And with that, I would like to end this video. I hope you do your Christmas shopping in time, and you get all your New Year party preparations all lined up and ready to go. Bye for now.